Sometimes life calls for us to downsize our gardens. When that happens, this amazing garden is going to show you what you can do in a limited amount of space. Her goal is to get one of everything, and I think you're going to be amazed at what she's accomplished. Who can deny that an Annabelle hydrangea is the queen of hydrangeas, isn't she?
They're beautiful. I love them. I have a very difficult exposure here. It's full south. And even though it's a little bit toasty for them come August, you can see they perform really well here in this full sun. And this is zone 8 now, I think we are in Memphis.
This is Linda Orton, and she is affiliated with the Hydrangea Society that comes and goes, and I've known her to be that expert for years. But today we're in her garden, and I'm standing behind something that I'm amazed also with. Tell me about this.
That is a daylily called Autumn Minaret, and it's a very tall daylily. And I have a friend who's a big daylily fan, and I reached out to them, and they said, I have a couple extras, I'll gift you. So we were able to arrange for me to have a couple. And these used to be in my back area that didn't get as much sun, but here in the full south exposure, it has shot up. It's at least 6 feet tall. So
that was a good friend to have.
I know. I'm very happy with it. We'll see what it looks like.
When we welcome people into our homes, it's very important. The first impression is what they see before they go through your door. And you have limited space, but you also have impressed with what you've done right here, just on this wall. Tell me about your choice of plants.
Well, I'm a big clematis fan, and so this is called Starfish. And I have another one in there that blooms early. It's already gone over. And this is a herbaceous clematis down here, Stand By Me, the purple little elf's hat.
Yes, and I love it. And you know, that has a very long blooming time.
It does, and if I had cut it, I am a very shy pruner, and I've been really preoccupied this year, and I normally would cut that back a lot further, feed it, and it would flush out and not be so droopy right now. And some friends gave me, again, some dahlias, and I've never had them before, so it's been kind of an experiment, and I have them in a pot so that I can, once they go over, I can move them around somewhere else or put them out of sight.
As we step further into your entrance into your home and gardens, you've already got a garden, a real garden created right here. So I see all kinds of examples of perennials, annuals. Tell me about your choices here.
Well, again, this doesn't get as much sun because it's protected a little bit by my home, but this is the way I go into my home every day. I don't have an area where I can go into my house through my garage, so I kind of made it for me. Yeah. I wanted to see something pretty that I like to see every day when I come in and out of my house. So I've got a lot of mix of hellebores, and mostly the annuals are in pots. But
yes.
I have clematis in pots and
well, and now let's
perennials.
talk about this Japanese maple.
It's a ryusin, and it's been out probably 20-some years, but when it came out, it's basically a ground cover. It will grow laterally on across the ground if you don't stake it, and I've got it staked up in a pot.
And underneath it, you've actually created a small garden right here with perennials.
Yeah.
What have you chosen in here?
That's a status, I think, or a stachys.
Yeah,
I never
yes.
can pronounce it correctly. And then that's called a pink octopus campanula.
That is too cute.
Yeah, and that's a perennial, and I didn't have space in the back, so I put it in a pot here. We'll see if it makes it through the winter again. And then the rest are little annuals that I filled in for color contrast.
The snowflake hydrangea, to me, is a masterful hydrangea. Tell me about that.
That was found actually in someone's front yard down in Alabama by Eddie Aldridge and his father, probably 20, 30 years ago, and it is a sterile form, and so when you cut it and put it in your bouquets on your table, you don't have that shedding that you would see from a lot of other hydrangeas.
I see what you're saying, but it has triple flakes, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's
got
an
like
amazing.
Yeah, it's like a hose and hose in a azalea, you would call a hose and hose, where the flower just keeps coming out in a chain. And it when it ages, it turns green, like a pale limey green.
It's beautiful.
I love it. You don't. It's a little hard to propagate, and I don't think you see it so much in the trade because I don't think it was ever patented.
I just recently found mine. We have literally stepped into a garden, and let's talk about right here what you've collected in your container plant, the garden you've created. Tell us about all of this plant material that you've gathered here.
Well, I'm a big hydrangea fan, as you can tell, and my garden doesn't lend itself to planting macrophyllus in the ground because of the sun. So this north side of my house is a perfect place to put a lot of different hydrangeas in different pots. And so I just group them up in a collection, basically, of the different hydrangeas that strike my fancy.
Yes. Well, and they seem to live well there, and they don't mind.
They really are happy.
They don't mind being contained, do they?
No, they do. Really, I think they do better for me in pots than they have in the ground. I have some in the ground.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a lot of shade, you've got to make use of what you can.
And you have
out.
a goal too.
That's right. I'm focused on hydrangeas a lot.
Well, this right here is complete coverage of how you've taken a clematis and other binding materials to put a backdrop on this otherwise wooden wall.
Yes, it's kind of a sore spot for me, that wall. So I found these trellises and put them up, and I have about 6 different clematis growing up in there.
Wow.
They've all grown over, but some bloom really early and some bloom later.
It's so amazing when you take a big urn and set it off to itself, but then it becomes a statement piece. You've given it a hair. What is that?
That is a golden oregano.
Oh.
And it's just an ornamental oregano, and I like that lime green color in a garden. It kind of sets itself off from the other greens that you see.
Don't you think it's a blending color? It might bring together things that otherwise you wouldn't put together.
Well, cohesive.
Yeah, I think so also.
Yeah.
In your gardening efforts, Linda, let's start at your top layer up there. The plants that you've put in there. And are you happy with them?
Well, this year I'm kind of happy with that golden oregano, and then I have a phlox that's more of a spring blooming phlox. And then this year I bought some germander that's supposed to be evergreen and is very easy or adaptable to pruning. And so I'm hoping that will fill in, and I'll have like a little evergreen hedge up there come wintertime.
I'll testify to for you.
It will?
It absolutely will. I have it. I love it. It's blooming right now purple.
Okay.
Okay, now let's go on down.
Well, I got the lavender there is phenomenal. And in December 22, we had that bad cold drop, and I lost one of the 2 I had. I don't know why, 3 feet apart, one is fabulous and the other one, I had to replant it. So that's a new plant on the right.
It's not for us to know.
No, it's just, you just keep going.
Yes.
Don't give up.
And nestled beneath that, we come down to the next layer. And I see you have, is that an Oriental lily?
Yes, I bought that last year at a nursery in Bloom. A lot of my lilies rot for me because I have a drip irrigation, and that's not conducive to having bulbs. So I bought that in a pot, and I cut it back, and I left it outside all winter, and lo and behold, it came back.
Well,
so I love it, and it's very pretty. It's that stargazer.
Okay, now then, moving back towards our left here, you have some azaleas.
Yes, those were here when I bought the home, but they were all scattered like polka dots up and down in different places, and I just dug them all out and consolidated them more so they'd be 3 or 4 on each side of my angel.
Well, we're to level 3 is what I'm going to call it, but we're not finished.
Okay.
So you start over here with this magnificent container.
Yeah.
I see a perennial in there, but
salvia.
That is a wonderful pop of color. And you have a wonderful little ground cover there.
Chocolate chip ajuga.
And that's a small one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then what is your choice?
Those are called a tater tot.
Tater tot.
Arborvitae, and I got that again at the UT sale.
Well, it's a wonderful additional, and it's low growing and a nice border plant. And is this incredible, or is that?
Yes, it's an incredible. For me, the Japanese maple was here when I bought the home, and I didn't want to move it, go to the expense of moving it or it was pretty. And so for me, sometimes I start with what I have to have. I had to have an Annabelle back here because
Yes.
in the evening, that white just glows
It
in the
is.
dusk.
Moonlight
and,
garden.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I put that in there first, and then I just kind of worked around and under everything and tried
Yes.
to contrast my color of my foliage of my Japanese maple with the limey green.
Yes, this is our understory where you found more space to plant more plants, and their requirements are a little bit different
Yes,
because you have the shade.
Yeah.
So in here, what are just a few of things you've chosen?
Well, this is that PD ingot, which is like a liriope, and but it's supposed to clump, but I don't know if that is true. But it has that lime green foliage, and I like that little, it's like a little splash of sunshine in the shade.
Yes, and then there's a leaf up next to it. What kind of a?
That is some type of a mountain mint, and don't ask me which. I got it from a mail order nursery some years ago, and I've never seen it again offered anywhere, but it has that lemony lime leaf that's a little different shape than the liriope. And then I have this big leaf, yellowy hosta. So I was trying to vary my leaf shapes, but keeping the same color family.
Yeah, but you know, you hit on an important point. When I first started gardening, guess where I found my plants? I ordered them.
Yes.
And we're very fortunate these days, but you've ended up all of this square footage you've got right here by putting some more hydrangea in the ground and even a peony. So all of this is just so cohesive, and it definitely works.
Well, it satisfies my need for putzing in the garden and having one of everything.
Well, we need it. Have you ever sat and tried to decide exactly how many plants do I have?
Oh, no.
Number-wise?
No. Years and years ago, I used to try to keep a ledger of what I spent, and that I quit that pretty quick.
What you spent or the plants you have?
Well, both.
Okay.
What plant I bought, where I bought it, when I bought it, and how much it cost me. And after digging up a few plant tags and dead plants, I kind of quit that. So I just buy whatever I really want.
Before me sits a 6-foot square garden with a canopy of a crepe myrtle over it.
Yep.
Without underestimating, maybe 60 plants reside here.
All different ones.
and you know, the good thing really too, all of these do have the same growing habit.
That's right.
And it wouldn't be successful without it. Shall I say, the first thing you would see coming out would be this hydrangea. That's a cute little one. What is it?
It's called Munchkin, and it was developed actually in Middle Tennessee at the USDA experimental station.
Oh.
So it should do very well for everybody in Tennessee.
Okay, and next to it, we have a plant that has two interests. It has a spiky bloom, but it has spiky, pointy leaves. What is this?
A shredded umbrella plant, they call it.
Shredded
Umbrella.
umbrella.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, who could deny this could be anywhere in the world, and you made a garden out of a hosta plant because you put another plant.
Yeah.
This is a spectacular. Is this summon substance?
Summon substance, and because I like to have a lot of plants, you have to do different levels. So I brought it up into a pot so that I could plant under it. Because if it had been in the ground, I would have lost my space. So
ground story again, isn't
right.
it? And you filled it down here with Solomon seal. That's a different solid color.
Stairway to Heaven, I think it's called.
Yes.
Sedai.
And this is another beautiful hosta. And you got foam flowers, and this is a geranium, strawberry geranium, and it's actually a good ground cover.
It is, and it used to be considered always a house plant.
I know, I had it as that. Well, and over in the shady side over here, I see an interesting Solomon seal that I don't know that I've ever seen this variety. What is
a friend gave me that, and it's called White Tiger.
White Tiger?
White Tiger.
White Tiger.
White Tiger.
Wow.
Not sure of the proper name, but it's that white. If the more sun it gets, the whiter that white is.
Yeah,
It's unusual.
I do see you have success with maidenhair fern, and you know, not every gardener does.
I'll tell you what I do. Every year I buy maidenhair fern to keep in the house in a big planter. I like it in my house.
Yeah.
And every year, invariably, I don't water it like it once, and it wilts. So I cut it back and I bring it out here and I put it in the ground. And I have a really high ratio of success. So that's many different little 3 or 4 inch pots I bought at a garden center that used to be in my house.
Well,
so when you kill them in the house, don't think you killed them. Just cut them back, put them out here and water them, and it's like miraculous. They just come up.
what kind of time do you spend in this garden?
Oh gosh, I hate to say this, I rarely spend any time in the garden setting and looking at it. I spend almost all my time that I'm out here doing something, either deadheading, trimming it,
Yes.
just relocating it. I don't think it's doing well in one spot, so I dig it and I put it somewhere else, or planting new plants. I really don't know. I don't feel like I'm tied to my garden as I did my old home. That was so much bigger. But I love to garden. I like to be outside, and so it's I call it puttering. So it's not really a work.
That's the best kind of gardening, and you realize that it is joy. I just want to move one plant today. I don't want to get all tied up.
No.
And that is the pleasure of gardening.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
That I don't believe that any garden could ever have too many hydrangeas.
No.
I don't believe that any garden can ever be created that won't take our time.
Oh, it's time consuming. Most of the time you spend sometimes just in your head.
Oh, I know it.
Thinking about what you're going to do, or when you go to a garden or center or nursery, you see a plant and all of a sudden you say, that might work.
Well, I have to say, Linda, that through my knowledge of your works here in horticulture and at the Dixon Gardens and with the hydrangeas, that your reputation goes before you. And what I enjoy is always seeing your participation and what you do for this community as far as that. And to tell you that I've ever seen a garden like this, never, ever, and I admire it so much. And it just goes to show the desire is there and the will is there, and the garden came from you.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And gardening and talking to other people about gardening is a lot of my way of make connection of friends and acquaintances and things like that. It brings people together, I think.
Absolutely. It's something that will start a conversation that will never end.
That's right.
Thank you so very much.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you for coming to the garden.
If you like gardening, you'll want to subscribe to this channel. We showcase gardeners, plants, and the joy that growing can bring.